Photoshop is so complicated. This is one of the biggest things that I hear from moms all over, especially whenever I tell them that I prefer Photoshop over Lightroom any day. I actually have a YouTube video all about the reasons why I choose Photoshop over Lightroom that you can check out here. I totally get it. There's a whole bunch of tools. There's a lot of lingo. What are this layers thing that's going on the side here? I completely and totally understand, which is why today I'm going to be giving you 3 tips for editing in Photoshop. If we haven't met yet, hi, I'm Kayla Brent. I'm a motherhood photographer and founder of Mom Photography School, where I teach moms to take gorgeous everyday photos. And a part of taking photos, digital photos, is also editing the photos. And I teach my moms exactly how to edit in Photoshop, because Photoshop can do everything that Lightroom can do, plus so much more. If you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for all the mom photography tips and mom hacks. And in the comments below, let me know which you prefer to edit with, Photoshop or Lightroom. Okay, tip number 1 that I'm going to give you for editing in Photoshop is to learn these shortcuts in Photoshop. If you're in Photoshop, the program itself, you just take your mouse and hover over the different tools. It will not only have the name of the tool, it will also have a little description of what the tool does, and it will have a shortcut key for it. For instance, V is the move tool and B is the brush tool. Now, some of them make sense and some of them don't. That's totally fine. But the thing is learning these, especially from the beginning, will make editing way faster, way more efficient. I used to teach photography to 7th graders, and one of the things that I taught them in the very beginning was the shortcuts in Photoshop, and I would walk around as they were editing and make sure that they were using the keyboard shortcuts, and they, by the end of the year, could edit so fast. And that's when I realized the value of the shortcuts. Yes, I had been using them, but I was like, oh, this works for me. But it also worked for 27th graders, and it will work for you too. So again, simply just take your mouse, hover it over the tool that you want, and you will see the shortcut for that there. And just start using them as you're learning Photoshop and as you're getting into using Photoshop more regularly. Tip number 2, make sure that you are shooting in RAW when you're taking the photos. And this is because whenever you shoot in RAW and you drag your photos to Photoshop, they actually open up into a plugin that's called Adobe Camera Raw. So they're not actually opened up in Photoshop yet. They're opened up in Adobe Camera Raw, and this looks very much like Lightroom. It even has sliders in the same place like Lightroom, so you can adjust the white balance, the exposure, highlight, shadows, all kinds of things right there without actually getting into Photoshop. I bet 80% of my editing I do directly in Camera Raw, and you can save the photos in Camera Raw right there and never have to open Photoshop. This makes it really easy to batch edit a session. You can do it all right there in Adobe Camera Raw, save it, and never have to open up Photoshop. Again, it feels a lot like Lightroom, but it's better because if you need Photoshop, so say there is a really bad blemish or there's something in the background that you need to get out, all you have to do then is open it up in Photoshop. So everything you have is right there. I love Adobe Camera Raw. Tip number 3 is to learn about mask layers. And I have a video all about how to face swap, in which I use a mask layer and I show you how to use it. So go check that out. But mask layers are wonderful because they are forgivable layers. And let me explain what I mean by a forgivable layer. So say that you are editing something in Photoshop and you use the erase tool, which erases something. So say that you erase something that's around somebody's face and you're erasing, okay, you got whatever it was out of the background you wanted to get out. And then you move on to something else and make some more edits. Well, you notice later that when you're erasing, you accidentally intently erased into the face itself. And you didn't notice that before, but oh no, you've done a whole bunch of other edits, so Control-Z doesn't work unless you want to lose everything you've done. That is why a mask layer is so great, because what a mask layer does is think of it like a mask, okay? Hence the name mask layer. What you do is you use the brush tool, and what happens is you can remove a portion of it and you can add it back. So you can go back and forth with what you want. So you can remove it, but if you remove too much, you can always add it back. Mask layers took me forever to completely understand, but really all you're doing is using the brush tool, which is shortcut B, and you will have the black color selected. And with that, it removes whatever is on that layer. Simply switch it to white and it will add it back wherever you brush. So there you have it, 3 tips for editing in Photoshop. Learn the shortcuts, make sure you're shooting in RAW so your images open up in Adobe Camera Raw, and learn your mask layers. And don't forget, I have a video on how to do a face swap in which I show you exactly how to use a mask layer, and you can follow along step by step. I hope this was helpful. Again, make sure that you like and subscribe to this video for all the mom photography tips and mom hacks. Also, I have a free training for you all about editing in Photoshop. I'm going to link that below. Make sure you join that free training, and I will see you there. Bye for now.